Hello, my name is Soham.
And my name is Ryan. Today we'll be going over screen addiction, and we are CS2104 Homework 13 Group 41. So first we'll go over what is addiction, and then we'll go over addiction phenomenons. After that, we'll go over statistics for addiction, and then Instagram versus our solution. Lastly, we'll cover the references. So um, screen addiction is also known as digital addiction, and it is the compulsive use of digital devices in our lives. It also it is about how it interferes with our daily lives. And it leads to falling asleep later and getting less sleep overall, as well as waking up later as well.
One of the main effects of digital addiction, also known as screen addiction, is that it leads to decreased productivity and decreased academic performances because we are spending more time online on social media and doing other stuff, which means that our productivity in our work and career goes down. It also has mental health effects because the more time we spend with screen, the more we're distracted from real life activities, and our life becomes all about what's there on the screen. And last but not the least, it also leads to relationship and socializing issues because the more time you spend on screen, it means that you're not spending the same time socializing or meeting and talking with people around you, which means that you're wasting time getting addicted to a screen. So basically, digital addiction, also known as screen addiction, can be defined as a compulsive use of digital devices where you spend more and more time online every single day, ignoring your real life relationships and your real life activities and hobbies that you could otherwise pursue. Now, moving on, when talking about screen addiction phenomena, there are four different types of phenomena that we identified. First is social media, which is very obvious. Second is gaming, online shopping, and binge watching. And we plan on covering this deeper in the rest of our presentation. So I'll pass it on to Ryan to explain the social media addiction.
So social media addiction starts with how much time we spend going over the same 10, 11 apps. So the main thing with social media is how it makes one feel connected. And that's something that humans really like. We like to feel connected to others. And social media again makes us feel that way. Social media also has innate competitive aspect to it. We all try to see how much likes we can get more than others. That's what we try to do. And on the computer side, it's more that social media overloads you with a constant feeling of needing to check it to see if you're keeping up with the likes, notifications, comments, etc. And to just they are designed to keep us engaged with the content, and this resulting addiction can take hours.
The next is gaming addiction. So this is very common among teenagers and young people. Typically, people between the age groups of 9 to 30. Typically, they get addicted to online games or multiplayer games wherein they can play with people from like other parts online. What this makes them feel is this placebo effect that they're still playing with teenagers of their age and making friends, but in reality, it's just people they're meeting online, people they're not otherwise going to meet in person, and they'll never be able to form deep social connections with these people because these are just people that they're meeting online, playing games with them. Also, gaming addiction leads to mental stress effects because you're constantly looking at the screen, and and studies have shown that over time, if you get addicted to games, it might lead to decreased academic performances as seen in high school students. Especially games like Fortnite and PUBG, which are becoming very popular, can also make kids more aggressive in nature because these are games where you have to play with guns and and these are violent games. So this not only have effects on your academics, but also beyond that on your social and on your mental health as well. Now I'll pass it back to Ryan.
Another important phenomenon is online shopping, which is also a source of much screen addiction. So in online shopping, it's very easy to switch between different sources is to buy stuff from. And there are so many choices that you can pick from that you just keep choosing to buy stuff. Uh, and in addition, it constantly feels like you are trying to the concept feels like the algorithm is pushing as many recommendations as it can onto you. And that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to try to show you what you will like to buy, and that helps feed the addiction of people who want to shop as much as they can. I'll pass off to Soham. for binge.
Now, the final type of addiction that we recognize is binge watching, wherein it includes online streaming services ranging from Netflix, Hulu, Disney, to even YouTube. YouTube is particularly very common among young people, kids as young as ages of 3 to 4, because they start watching small YouTube videos for songs and like lullabies, but it keeps on increasing because that's how the recommendation algorithm works. It keeps them hooked onto their screens. Among adult population, it's more about online streaming shows or online sports, ranging from Netflix to Star Sports, where they like watching games or movies or hour-long episodes of web series, which goes from one more episode, and it spans the entire night. So binge watching is one more kind of addiction when people literally spend entire days binge watching random reality shows or TV shows or movies on Netflix or something like that, and they don't even recognize that. So this, we believe, are some of the more major four types of addictions.
So here are some of the statistics about how addiction is currently affecting our lives today. So on average, we now spend over a day of our week online. The average user checks their smartphone every 12 minutes and Facebook almost once every 10 minutes. Yeah, for many young people. 2 in 5 adults first look at their phone within the first 5 minutes of waking up. And also we tap, swipe, and click our devices over 2,600 times each day.
And this is all of the average data that we gathered through our extensive research, and we have provided references for all of this towards the end. Another important is a pie chart of addicted population that we gathered from the Pew Research Center, according to a study they conducted in 2019. They found that 26% of American adults admitted to being online constantly, and 43% of those at 18 to 29-year-olds were in that category. So it's a major population of being people who are addicted online are 18 to 29-year-olds, basically a college-age population like me and Ryan. And more than 45% of teenagers in the same report said that they're online on a near constant basis. So from the data that we've collected, we have recognized that most of the population that is constantly addicted online is undergraduate college students, because they have more time to spend and there are more people around them, which leads them to being more online.
And of course, the effects of addiction to screens on people are very profound as well. For example, a link has been found between the surge in screen use and mental health struggles. And this is especially prevalent among young people who, as shown previous, are most likely to be addicted. In addition, almost half of the 18 to 34-year-olds said that their social media feeds that made them feel more unattractive. Another study has shown that as mobile phone use increases, so does anxiety, and that those who use 7 to 10 social media platforms are 3 times more likely to report depressive symptoms than those who use 2 or fewer.
So these are really interesting statistics about the effects of addiction, and we have provided references for them at the end. Now, talking about methods for dealing with addiction, we identified 4 main methods that we feel would be very effective. Those include productivity timers, screen time limits, which can be built in or custom made. Third is not using devices at specific times of the day. And fourth would be hobbies and activities. So the first one is productivity timers. We believe that using productivity timers can help you maintain focus and avoid getting lost in the device. So for example, if you're doing an assignment or an academic activity, you can set a productivity timer for say like half an hour, when you make sure that you do not touch any other electronic device while you're reading your book or something. And you can only touch it at the end of the timer. And this is something that is very effective strategy that a lot of people are using, because it gives them an incentive to not use an electronic device for the set period of time.
Another strategy that can be used against screen addiction is to set screen time limits. So limiting your screen time can help you maintain a healthy balance between your digital device time and your real world active time. And for example, you can set a timer to maybe only use 2 hours a day on social media and to help fight addiction onto the screen.
Another is no devices at certain times. So for example, if you're in a family setting or if you're with your friends, you can set designated device-free times. And this can help you unplug and take a break from your screens. For example, when you're having dinner or lunch with your family or friends, you can make sure that none of you are using phone. For example, at Virginia Tech, in some of the dining halls, such as Western Market, there's this new concept called as JOMA, the joy of missing out. So which basically encourages students not to use their phones while they're having food. So they have the special boxes wherein you can just put your phone, and those boxes are on the table. So in initiatives like Initiatives like those can help you make sure that you do not use devices at certain times of the day.
And lastly, one thing we could do is promote other hobbies and activities. Engaging in other hobbies and activities can provide a different outlet for energy other than spending it on screens. For example, you learn to play a musical instrument, you could draw, you could do sports, you could even do like photography or dancing or any activity other than social media or screen time.
Fifth is for example, we did a comparison and we wanted to come up with innovative solution. So we decided to include Instagram and talk about our own solution. Like what are some changes that we would make if we want to make something addiction free? So first, it's important to discuss why is Instagram addictive. One is endless scrolling. So for example, when I watch Reels, sometimes I spend hours or like half an hour a day watching Reels. And that's because there's this option of endless scrolling. You start scrolling and it never ends. And that is why I feel like I get addicted to it sometimes. Second, it's very easy to open. It's literally an app in your device, which means that all you need to open it is just one tab. Third is comparing yourself or competition. So for example, when I upload something or a story or something, I am very motivated to get the maximum number of likes. And I always want to have that more as compared to my friend. It can range from the number of likes, the number of comments, to even the number of followers that I have. And this brings about a toxic mindset among young people like me.
So our solution, we decided that one of the better things we could do is built-in screen time reminders, which will remind you how much time you're spending, as well as built-in time limits that will set how much time you can spend on Instagram. So for example, if you only want to spend 30 minutes per day or less on Instagram, you can set that limit. And when you go over that, it can just tell you. And lastly, we could get rid of the like system. That can help make it less competitive, make it easier for people to stop constantly spending time and uploading on Instagram.
Also, now in terms of comparing and contrast, so for example, in terms of comparison, our app would be more user friendly because we don't incentivize our users to compare each other's. Instead, it's a more friendly environment where you're encouraged to be. It's not a toxic environment basically. Second is the start process. Instagram is very easy to use, but rather our app would not be one click. It would take multiple steps, which would discourage the user from using it like 2,000 times a day or something like that. Third would be endless scrolling. Instead of having an endless feed, we have a limited amount of feed that a user has. So this will encourage them to spend only limited time on the app. And this will ensure that instead of spending hours endlessly scrolling the app, they can instead focus on other useful stuff that would make them more successful and give them a more happy and joyful life.
And here are the references we use during the creation of this presentation.
So some of the references include Times, Stanford, HAI Research, UPMC, and different statistics that we found across news outlets and research papers online. Some of them included the Pew Research studies or Stanford research reports. Thank you for giving us a chance to present on our topic about screen addiction.
Thank you.